It's your man Alex, and in today's video, you're going to learn exactly how to give yourself a buzz cut fade self haircut. So we're going to be starting off with the number 2 guard with the lever in the closed position, and I'm just going to be going through running the clipper all the way through my hair so that everything can be at the same exact length, right? So that's what you're really gunning for here, is making sure that your entire head, because of course this is a buzz cut, we need to make sure that the entire head is at the same length. So going from the front to the back, side to side, back to front, because your hair grows in so many different directions, so it'll shoot to the left and then it'll shoot to the right. You need to make sure that you get your entire head and take it slow. Moving forward, we've got the trimmer for the first guideline. So these are my Glaker trimmers, and I'm going in and putting in the first guideline slightly around the tip of my eyebrow, and then with a slight downward angle as we get toward the back of my head, going of course with the shape of the occipital ridge on the back of my head. And as you guys can see, I'm not in my normal haircutting dojo, so I'm having to use a handheld mirror. I highly do not recommend you guys use a handheld mirror, as they make cutting your own hair extremely difficult because your hand starts to shake and then you're leaning against the vanity and it hurts your back, and you can't really see a lot with that tiny mirror. So I always recommend using the $7 Walmart mirror. Again, the link for the mirror is in my description. I get zero money from it. I just want you guys to make sure you're using the proper tools so you can start using this mirror setup and cutting your hair properly. So next, we're moving in with the clippers no guard lever open, and I'm going up roughly 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, maybe even an inch toward the back of my head, because I really want to spread out the guideline. Usually, the more you spread out the guideline, the thicker you make the guideline, the easier it is when you start to fade. So that's why, I've recognized, because I have a short hair on top using the number 2 guard, I can spread the guideline out a little bit more, 3/4 of an inch, maybe even an inch toward the back of my head. And then it becomes a lot easier when it comes to fading once I put in all the guidelines. So now I'm going in with the number 1 guard lever open. So as you've noticed, I'm always putting in the guidelines with the lever open. So I'm going in number 1, lever open, about 3/4 to 1 whole inch all the way around my head. Really what I'm trying to do is just make sure that this guideline is relatively the same thickness as the previous guideline below it. Right? That's really what you're trying to do, so that you make the haircut more symmetrical. You don't want to have one guideline a full inch and then the guideline below it is only 1/2 an inch. No. You have to make sure that all the guidelines are roughly the same exact distance from each other, so that when you start to fade, everything fades in proportion to each guideline. And just to make what I said earlier a little bit more obvious, this is exactly what you're looking for. Notice how each guideline is roughly the same exact distance from each other, okay? That's what you're going for. So now I'm going up with the 1.5 guard lever closed and with the lever open. So I'm really just going to be adjusting the lever here to remove the number 2 guard lever closed on top, as well as blend it into the guideline below it, which is with the number 1 guard lever open. So the 1.5 guard is fantastic. If you guys don't have one, because for some reason your clippers didn't come with the 1/2 guard or the 1.5 guard, highly recommend you guys get them. They're essential for fading. So now moving on to the no guard lever halfway, we're going to be fading in the first guideline, okay? This is probably going to be the most difficult guideline to remove, so please take it slow, listen to what I'm doing, and write down the steps of exactly how I'm removing the first hard line, okay? So I'm going in no guard on the clipper, the lever is in the halfway position, and I'm going up about halfway in between that 1 inch guideline, right? So let's just say it's 3/4 to 1 inch of a guideline. I'm going up halfway up that guideline with the flick out motion, and I'm going up just to soften up the hard line is really what I'm trying to do. So I'm just softening up the hard line using the lever halfway. Now I'm going in no guard lever closed, so I'm closing the lever completely, which is shortening the blade. So I'm going to be just flicking out at the bottom of the hard line now, and this is going to remove about 90% of the hard line. So use the no guard lever closed to flick out directly at the bottom, and if you need to, use your hand, the opposing hand, your left arm, whichever one you're not using to hold the clippers, to stretch out your scalp, so it makes it a little bit easier and is a little bit less risky for you to mess up and dig a new hard line into your hair. So really, removing the first hard line is a 3-step process. So we use the no guard lever halfway, we use the no guard lever closed, and now I'm going back with the trimmer, which, if we can remember, was the very first guideline that I used to put in on the very beginning of the self haircut. So I'm going back to the trimmer and just flicking out the last like 10% of the bottom of the hard line, okay? Now to remove the final hard line, I'm going in with the half guard lever closed, and I'm adjusting the lever slightly as I go up my head as needed, right? So if you notice there's still a little bit of a hard line still with the no guard lever closed, you probably need to open the lever just slightly and keep on moving the lever around as you go up your head. And if you guys are finding value so far in this self-haircut tutorial, make sure you leave a like, share this video with a friend, subscribe if you're brand new to my channel. I always post every Saturday at 9 AM Eastern time, usually every 2 weeks with a brand new self-haircut tutorial. Also, don't forget to check out my Instagram and TikTok as well. I usually always reply to DMs just in case you have any questions. Now I'm using the number 1 guard lever closed and just doing a little bit of detail work. So typically I'll go back now that 99% of the haircut is done, and I'll just figure out where there's any hard lines and adjust the clipper guards. So I'll put on the 1 guard, the half guard, 1.5 guard, and I'll adjust the lever accordingly just to do some detail work and try to remove as much of any hard lines that I see. And so now to make the haircut really come alive, I'm going to be using my scissors to line up my forehead and then my trimmers to do my C-cup and around the vertical bar around my lineup. So starting from the center of your forehead, work your way from the center outward, all right? So I always start in the middle of my forehead and then cut toward the left side and then cut toward the right side, okay? That's how you always want to start for the forehead lineup. Now I'm just using my trimmers, going along my natural hairline. I'm not pushing anything back. I'm not trying to, really emphasize the line crazy, right? Just really just straightening the line, trying to take out the least amount of hair possible just to make sure that the edges are nice and sharp. And because I don't want to look like Humpty Dumpty, I really want to make sure that my haircut is the same exact length all the way around on top of my head. So I'm just going back with the number 2 guard lever closed and running it through my forehead just to make sure that there's no dark spots. And And so now I'm going in with the same exact scissors that I used to trim my forehead and clean up the lineup. I'm just going around the beard as well on the top. Usually most of us who have beards know that there's a lot of scraggly hairs that just kind of stray away from the natural hairline of your beard. So I got to use my scissors. I find that it's the safest way, using my scissors instead of my trimmers. Usually I've found that using trimmers to clean up my cheeks, all the hairs by my cheek, gives me pimples, and I don't find that really with scissors. So I'm not sure what the reason is behind that, but comment down below if you have some sort of issue with that as well. Now I'm just going in, cleaning up the beard, blending it into the fade, using the clippers with no guard, using the lever open, halfway, and then closed, and then flicking the clipper upside down, and then just free-handing a little bit, using the corners as well to really just blend in the beard to the fade on the sides and back. So this, you guys, is the before of today's buzz cut fade self haircut tutorial. I hope you learned a lot, and I really hope you can manage to give yourself a really nice buzz cut fade from the comfort of your home so you can start saving money every single month for the rest of your life, just like I've been doing for the past 15 years. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of today's self haircut. Did I do a good job? What could I have done better? And if you have any ideas for future self haircuts that you'd like to see me do, let me know in the comment section down below. But make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe if you're new, share this video with a friend. Don't forget to check out the links in the description down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!